Country Boy by Lucius Mccray, narrated by Bowar. This book is dedicated to the smartest and most fascinating man I ever knew, my father. He was a farmer, carpenter, plumber, real estate genius, business guru, and rocket engineer that helped get us into space and on the moon. Most of all, he proudly called himself a hillbilly from Blacksburg, Virginia. Lucius Mccray exists in memory of his humor, intelligence, and wisdom. Chapter 1. The Ballad of Pumpkin. I reckon when folks hear the phrase cat owners today, they think about single, lonely, middle-aged women or men who like to wear onesies to bed. But back when I was a young'un, cats were considered just this side of feral. Even today, most cats keep a wild streak deep down inside them. Felines don't believe they need to cotton to anybody. If you call a cat, it's just as likely to walk away from you as it is to walk to you. The cats I grew up around spent their days killing birds, killing mice, or harassing the dog. I even knew a few cats that hung out in barns and could take out a snake or rat. That's why when I got older, I promised myself I would own a cat. Unfortunately, my spouse Darla has always considered cats sort of a disposable animal, to put it politely. Needless to say, I was surprised when she let me get a yellow tomcat for a family pet. He was a right smart-looking animal and reminded me of one of the cats I grew up with. Darla only had one condition with me getting that kitten. I had to let our kids name it. Now, I figured there weren't any harm in doing that. After all, kids love animals and can come up with the cutest names. I was expecting something like Fluffy, Cotton Ball, Sir Purr, or even perhaps Needles on account of his claws. You can imagine my surprise when my two boys strolled up and proudly announced the name of the cat was Pumpkin. My boys thought that was a right smart name. After all, Pumpkin was a yellow cat with a bit of white fur on his stomach and a little on his face. Really, he was mostly orange, but I pictured him as a tiger, not a jack-o'-lantern. I must admit I was fit to be tied. I cajoled, begged, and pleaded for anything but that name. Of course, the boys' mama thought the name was perfect, and that was all the encouragement they needed. I knew right then and there that cat's life was headed for trouble. He grew into a real ornery puss. I am positive to this day that it was that stupid name that turned that animal almost completely feral. Even though the boys were about as good to that pussy cat as any kids could be, Pumpkin still hated them for some reason. I've seen some mean animals in my day, but Pumpkin pretty much led the pack. If you told him no, he would go over and claw the furniture. If you'd squirt him with water or swat his hind end with a small newspaper, he'd just run to the other side of...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?